All right, we are live. Welcome. Hopefully, you can hear me. If you cannot, let me make sure my microphone is on and ready to go. If you can't hear me, just let me know. I'm going to give everybody about 3 minutes to kind of come join. So I'm going to stall for a little bit while I'm waiting for people to come. So, welcome. Hopefully, we'll go over a lot of good UI, UX design principles when we're reviewing all of these projects. I believe we have somewhere around 8 to 9 total projects to review. So this will be great. You get to see 8 to 9 different interpretations. Most of them are going to be website layouts. I think there might be one mobile app design, but it's mostly going to be web based, and that's totally fine too. That's what a lot of people are comfortable with. So I'm going to begin in about 2 to 3 minutes. Just say, hey, if you're here, I have another computer so I can be able to comment on your stuff. If you have any questions along the way, or you're just curious about something or want to ask a question, go for it. So I'm just going to have 1 more minute. And while you guys are waiting, I just launched a new class, the Photoshop Manipulation Masterclass. Just launched on both Skillshare and on Udemy. So I'm pretty excited about this class because it goes through photo manipulations, photo editing, and you could do some pretty cool stuff in Photoshop. So I just thought I'd kind of do my shameless plug there with my new class. So you can watch the video. I posted it in the group earlier. So I think that's probably enough time. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first project. I have two that are live. So hopefully this works. So we're going to do, let's do Brett first. He was the first one to submit a project last week. So I thought we can at least start with his first. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it in here. Hi, Muhammad. I see you there. So hopefully some more people can join live. I know a lot of people will be watching this when it's not live, and that's okay. Okay, so this is kind of what I see when I first go on. What's great about this is live. This is not even just a wireframe. This is coded. Um, and so I already sent kind of some initial feedback back to him, but I thought I'd just kind of give my honest kind of feedback and initial approach. I'm not in Photoshop, so I can't kind of mock it up for you, but I can at least use my mouse and let you know what I think. So one of the first things when I pop onto this website is I'm thinking, okay, you have this pretty large box here, and it's a pretty long text for a headline. So some things you can do as a designer to kind of break that up is to accentuate one word. So right here, next would be bold, perhaps. Maybe next would be a bright yellow or something to really help break down the larger sentence for the user, because with a print project you have a lot of time to capture someone's attention. With web design you have almost zero time. So I could even have more contrast with this by making that entire line maybe thinner and then really bolding the next level and making that maybe a bright yellow and bold, or something that would jive. Maybe yellow won't jive with your brand. I see you kind of have this blue. So kind of finding a way to break all this information down. Another thing you can do is do a grayscale image behind here. So instead of having a color image that's fighting with your text, if you make it a duotone or a single ink or a black and white, it could add kind of a nice look, and it would take away a little of the complexity from this entire area and clean it up a little bit. So you can even do a gradient overlay and kind of have like a blue to green kind of gradient that fades and scale back or reduce the transparency of the photo to kind of make it look good. So, okay, so great. Do you need more time to focus on your adventure, learn more, get in touch? So let's just kind of explore the website a little bit more. So just services, I'm not going to spend too much time on each one, just kind of pointing out some UI, UX type things that I see. So this is nice. I like this little divider bar. I love this is the great block of copy compared to photos. So there's a great balance. There's not an overwhelming photo with a little copy and a little too much copy and just this tiny little photo. You have this wonderful contrast, and you have this contact us button right there. I don't have to sit there and go to contact. So excellent. I love your social media icons there too. So I love how they went from a left photo to a right photo. So it kind of forces the user to kind of reshift their focus a little bit. It kind of wakes you up a little bit when you shift it from left to right. So that's great. So I'm going to go ahead and go to portfolio because that's what people really want to see. And I kind of saw this kind of little animation here, why that looks cool. To me, it kind of reminds me of a template. I think he might have based it on a template, but there's something about that animation that just seems unnecessary. It'd be cool if they just like popped right on and they didn't have the animation, because it can kind of take away from the simplicity of the design. Okay, so I have a couple of these. We're just going to click on the first one that we see. Okay, so there's kind of an image. I'd love if that image was sharper, but this is a screenshot, so I understand if it can't be super sharp. But this is kind of talking about results. So he put that right there in the center, which is nice. Okay, so this is nice overall. I really like kind of the menu system on the left. And so this is the true test. How responsive is it? So I'm going to go ahead and reduce the size and see how everything responds. And oh, I already kind of sent him a little bit of feedback, Brett, about how maybe making this a black and white photo might add a little classiness to it, maybe even a gradient overlay over top could look really neat too. But I like kind of the personal, relaxed, kind of shows a little bit of your personality. Oh, and I love these 3 columns, by the way. Oh, I need to keep going on this page because there's lots of neat stuff. And I kind of like how this is really neat. And I hate how it's below the fold. So below the fold will be anything under that I can't see when I first pop onto the screen is called below the fold. And I would love if that was above the fold, because I think that's really neat. And I love the animation that happens when you do a first view of that. So I would probably put this blue bar right on top of here, right below your photo. So you have your photo and then the blue bar, and then you have this nice broken down description boxes. Okay, so we have quote. So overall, I like it a lot. So contact, let me just look at your contact form. Oh, I like this a lot, where you can see exactly where you are. Go ahead and get in touch. Very nice, simple design. I love how he brings out that blue in his brand everywhere, even in the little asterisk. It's blue. Oh yeah, the responsiveness. Let's not get I'm just too excited. Okay, so let's see how responsive his portfolio is. So I'm going to go ahead and you can get to see all of my lovely icons in the back. But that kind of reduces down, and that looks pretty good. The way it reduces down, it turns into a hamburger menu right up top. It's called a hamburger menu. Kind of look like a stacked hamburger buns. I guess that's where that came from. That looks great. And it pops back out. So if you go to portfolio, it's small, and then it collapses, and then now there's single boxes in a row. So it's responsive, so great. So I can be on anywhere, any device, and it looks great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. I'm not going to spend quite as much time with each one, or this will be an hour-long video. So let's go on to the next live website. I'm going to go, this is a personal portfolio website, I believe. So let's go check it out. I can translate it. I'm not going to translate it because I want to leave it how it originally is. So this would be in another language. Okay, so the first thing, so it's on Wix, so it has this kind of weird banner, but I'm sure if you paid for it, it would kind of go away. So mentally, I just need to block that top bar out of my mind when looking at this website. But it looks like it's a sticky. So it's a sticky banner, and that's a shame because that's kind of obtrusive. But anyway, so let's just pretend that's gone. I'm going to try to pretend it's gone. So we have a lot of moving parts here. So we have this really neat kind of animation effect here. But we also have another one up here. So it's like, whoa, and they're different colors too. So it's kind of a lot. It's overwhelming. But it's cool. I mean, I like this animation. But I wonder if we can simplify it even more by simplifying your logo. So you notice how your logo is very colorful. You have this beautiful, colorful, it's a lot of different colored elements trying to attract my attention at the same time. So a couple of things you could do is do a simple black and white version of your logo and make it a little smaller. And that will help take one colored element away and kind of simplify it a little bit. Or you can remove this top animation, which looks cool, but it's not necessarily providing me with any information or showing your style. So really making more room for this one big hero image at the top. So I'm guessing that these are things you might have animated or you might have done. I have to see what kind of style or what kind of work you do. That's really neat, I have to admit. I can't really read anything you're doing because I'm so attracted to the animation. So I wonder if we can find a way to maybe have a sliver of this animation or even have it just so this is red or a little neat. But I love that. It's kind of an experience, isn't it? Ooh, look at it coming. Whoa. So I really kind of like it. At first I thought it was too distracting and I couldn't read anything. So I just wonder if there's a way we can simplify the text here so it's not as, you don't feel like you're trying to fight to read it, to look at the animation. I want to be able to look at the animation, but I also want to digest the information as well without feeling pressured to look at the animation. So maybe finding a way to make these bullet points even further. So maybe just a couple of words, maybe make the text bolder and bigger, maybe have a few words that are maybe this style that are here so you can still see the animation. So that animation combined with this hero image combined with that animation, it's a lot. So we need to kind of simplify it and do less is more and have one really cool animation going on at one time. So here's the design portfolio. We can kind of check it out. And also, I'm not sure if you did the animation, if you're a 3D animator or videographer. If not, I would put more emphasis on your logo design work. But if you did create this, absolutely, that should be included. But if you don't, I would just maybe include a little small element of that animation and really focus on what you do. You want to communicate what you do right away. What do you design? Do you do movement, animation? Because that's what I thought. And then you scroll down and there is static kind of design. So kind of focus on communicate what exactly you do right away so that I'm not confused whether did you do that, did you not do it? You know, if it's that much in the forefront, I assumed you did it. I don't know. So just kind of let me know if you're live, your thoughts. But I really love that experience of it. It's a really neat concept. Just simplifying. Simplifying is probably going to be the key for every design today, is finding ways to make less is more. Okay, great. So that's website 2 down. Now we have the static images. So I'm just going to start with Chris. This is a website that she already put together and is live. She kind of took some snapshots. I guess I could visit her website and check it out live. I'm not 100% sure, but this is what she supplied. So I'm already familiar with her brand, which is a very much a black and white. She's into high fashion and fashion illustration. She even teaches classes on it. So I am familiar with her brand, and this is very much on point with her brand, which is excellent. Very much sticks with the black and white, very simple. This looks to be kind of some pop-out boxes. These are different screenshots. This isn't just one homepage, but little snapshots. And I think it's very clean. I love the simple typography. Um, it looks really good. I don't have any constructive criticism. I think it looks great. I would maybe try to find, there's like a little box here. Let me see if I can't get my brush to make sure those blend in together. That's not a different color than that. That would probably look a little more clean. And your search bar, it kind of looks like there's like a little bit of a shadow there. Either eliminate that altogether or make it all white. So you're just not seeing the shadow. It looks a little strange. And then make your eyeglass search symbol a lot smaller, because the most important thing here is probably your logo. And also making your social icons maybe just a smidge smaller, just so they're not so obtrusive. Great, so thank you, Chris. So I'm going to keep going down. Hopefully everybody is here. I'm trying to see how many people I have live. I think I just have a few people. But say hi if you're here. Love to see if you're here. Okay, so this one was submitted just a few moments ago, so I haven't really had a chance to take a look. Just was fresh off the press. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Kind of look at it how we would look at it on a browser. So what I like about it, let's talk about some positive things. I like how they really maximize the photography here. So you have kind of some space here and some empty space here that's used nicely. As long as that photo doesn't switch around on you, then that works. You don't have to worry about it covering up typography. I would make your headline a little bolder, make it stand out a little more. You can use a bolder weight, something to maybe make it a little bit bigger, just to kind of say, discover the beauty of Namibia. I think I said that right. Oh, I feel so bad for not pronouncing that right. But make it big and bold. Discover the beauty. Discover the beauty. It needs to be big and bold and a little bit stronger. I love the choice of the kind of the orange and brown here. It goes really great with the banner up top. So that's a great color choice for your headline. Photography's fine. That looks great. Your type choice, and I love these wide margins. I'm a big fan of wide margins because it really helps a piece breathe. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep that drawn on there. I really like that. So I like how they switched around and put the photography on a darker background. That really switches it up a little bit. So I guess this would be a parallax where maybe it would scroll down and keep scrolling kind of everything on one page. And then you'd be able to click on the link and it would go straight to prices or Safari. So yeah, so with the footer, this could be a little strange with all the spacing. It doesn't feel like anything's connected. So I would just maybe close the gap here between some of these elements. You can keep the wide spacing here, but just close the gap here so it feels like it's connected as one unit. They don't feel all equally spread apart. Okay, great. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Just going to move on down. Fabian, let's go ahead and open up yours. And this was an older design, but they wanted to go ahead and have something submitted. And they said that something was off. So let's go ahead and discover what maybe that could be, or maybe what they were feeling. So I'm going to zoom in about the level that you would see it on a desktop. So probably about right there. This is beautiful. I really love the lines here. I love the simple logo. You guys need to pay attention because this is fantastic. I love the simple sans serif type used here. This is beautiful. Simple logo. It's not busy. It's not crazy. It's just, it really works. I love just this little geometric element there. That's beautiful. Typography is nice and balanced. So you have kind of this nice big sans serif, and then you have an italics that's small up here. So you kind of have some different type treatments going on in the same headline. It kind of breaks it up a little bit. Not too much copy here. That's great. Shop Now button is nice and subtle. I would even make that maybe the same color as the red just to make it pop just a smidge, but it looks so clean, I'd hate to suggest that. I would make your product just slightly bigger. I love white space, but when it comes to product and selling products, if this is going to be the first page the person goes on, you need to make the product image just a little bit bigger, maybe 30% bigger. So maybe the hands coming out here and you have the product that take up the space. Because you got to grab them right away, but you also got to be clean. So there's definitely a balance you have to strike there. Nice, simple social media icons. Love it. So let's go ahead and scroll down. I love this animation. This is really popular now where you have kind of a custom illustration and then kind of in this circular cropping. And then you have kind of a box of text that's very popular right now. I love how they switched it up with an italics there and emphasized a word. That's exactly what I try to teach. And the copy is not too much. Wonderful. I love this texture, by the way. If you zoom in, there's a little bit of a grainy texture. And it looks very nice. It's not just a plain off-white. Okay, this is nice here. So get a free sample, only pay for shipping. So it would be neat to kind of break up this a little bit so you have kind of white here. If this is parallax, I don't know if this will be parallax or not. This is white. You go down here, it would be nice to break this little section up, make this kind of that orange color bar and have that be in white, text be in white, and then reverse that and have it be a white button. Just something to kind of break up the background a little bit. That would be kind of nice. Scroll down, irresistible, good, and delicious. Okay. So I'd probably make the product bigger and the girl, less big because it's about the product and what it looks like. So I'd maybe make the product a little bit bigger, not much there. And I'd maybe crop the girl a little bit, maybe shift her up a little bit. And then leave that irresistible in black to kind of keep with this look right here. I want it to kind of look like that to be consistent. Because right now you're using different type, like the delicious. I don't mind the good, but the delicious is a totally different style than the rest of the website style-wise. So I would definitely change this word delicious to maybe match this typography down here or something that's a little closer to what you're already using. And that could help. And then adding a little bit more of this background in and not having it over the photo, not having irresistible over the photo will help keep with the clean lines and the clean look. So what makes it taste so delicious? So you have some products here. I'd love to see an actual little piece of chocolate instead of the icon, although I think the icons are really cool. But it'd be neat to see kind of chocolate on like a flat lay, maybe some flat lay photography. If you don't know what flat lay is, let's see if I can pop it up. Let's see, pixels. You need to do like a flat lay. I'm just going to show you what flat lay is. So this is flat lay. So kind of a top down look. It'd be neat to do that style of photography here with actual products kind of scattered around and then labeled. That'd be kind of a neat way to do it instead of doing the icons. It might bring a little bit more visual interest here. And customers are loving it. This is another opportunity to switch out the background and maybe do like a box of orange and then do white on top, just to kind of switch it up a little bit. But other than that, this is a wonderful example. Beautiful typography. It's nice and clean. It's stunning. So thank you so much for submitting a project. Okay, Muhammad, going on down. I think he didn't have a lot of time to do this, I think is what he said. So this was done kind of quickly. So I'm just going to kind of zoom in a little bit. So I guess this is for a portfolio piece. I mean, I like your clean. I'm going to start out with what I do like first because I like to do that. So I like your logo. It's very simple. It's in this kind of gray box. Digital Evangelist, I might make that, it looks like you got a couple of different typefaces going on, lots of different fonts. So we want to try to reduce it where you only use maybe 1 or 2 fonts. Because right now I see this is like almost a Times New Roman kind of sans serif. And you have this kind of very custom typography here. So that's 2 different kinds, but then you also, I don't know if this is the same. I think this is Arial or something. So you have 3 different typefaces used. It would be great if you could reduce that to 2 and maybe use this type for your digital evangelist, because the digital evangelist doesn't seem connected to what you have going on. And I would make sure you have a line break here. We don't want to ever have a paragraph without a line break because it seems like a mistake. So just make sure you have your line break. Okay. So just make sure you have portfolio maybe a little bit larger, maybe a bolder typeface. You can even use the same kind of custom typeface here for portfolio, so there's some consistency with your logo and your brand. And these would probably be live clickable links to your portfolio. What I love to do with portfolio pieces, and this is probably a whole nother class I could teach on this, is portfolio presentation, is I like to pick maybe my top 3 and presenting them in a larger horizontal format. So maybe, or it could be vertical, but kind of just having evenly sized boxes to really showcase one beautiful photo that represents your project and nothing more. So just like 3 boxes, each has just a nice zoomed in kind of view of your brand or portfolio, and then they can click and find out more. You don't have to show everything all at once because it can be overwhelming to see lots of different projects at one time. So less is more with portfolio presentation. And same thing with a footer, you might need to just really finesse this quite a bit. Maybe instead of using a full color icon, you find an icon that's a simple black and white or one color that doesn't have all the little gloss or the details. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. But yes, thank you for, I think you're live, so yay. Thank you for doing a project. So just kind of spend a little time refining it, and you know, it's definitely a start. You know, just kind of continue to take time to kind of refinesse it a little bit, and you can resubmit it and post it in the group if you want. I'd love to take another stab at it. Okay, so we have 2 of these. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up both of these. Okay, so this is, I guess, I don't have a whole lot of information. Let's see if they're live. I wanted to get a little more information on this. So I'm trying to, that might just be a snapshot. So let's go ahead and flip here, zoom in to where it would show on our desktop. Okay, so it's a little blurry. That's okay. This is how sometimes it looks in Photoshop. Okay, so hi, I'm Jennifer. I kind of like that. This little red or pink highlight kind of breaks up the typography a little bit. I get it. Start course, watch video. I like that's it's very clean and right to the point. Logo is not too large. It's not too small. It's kind of a nice size. I like the drop shadow on the bar because right now it's hard to tell. There's a lot of white going on. So there could be an opportunity to make this white bar a color and make it a sticky header. So when you scroll down, it stays on the top. And maybe it's the pink and then you have the white logo. Just depends. Or you could take an opportunity to make this a color and have them there to really have a pop of color and have some contrast right away. Okay, so just scrolling down. Okay, so what is this? Let's see. So I teach the most powerful tactics and strategies, social media, digital marketing. So it's a course. You're going to be able to start a course. So so we can log in, we can register. Okay. So why should you create your own Alexa flash briefing? So you kind of have some icons here. I'm trying to think. This looks a little this gray looks a little washed out. So I'd maybe increase the gray. We'll add a little more black to the body copy here. And I would even maybe take an opportunity. I like the light pink. That works well. That works well. How does it work? So I lose this headline. So either make it bigger or put it on a different background. I'm losing this entire section. Maybe we need to add some visuals, some icons, something to kind of help me figure out this is the process. So you might want to dedicate a little more space or screen real estate for the process and use icons and illustrations to kind of help break up all of this information because I'm losing it. So our happy customers around the world. Okay, so we kind of have this. What I would love to do is add more contrast here. So first of all, some more breathing room. We need more breathing room here, here. It's a little tight on space. So just let it breathe a little bit. I love some margins and I love some white space. I'd like to see a little bit more here. And I'm also adding higher contrast. So instead of going from light pink to lighter pink, you can do light gray to dark pink or white to pink. So one could be that dark pink up that you see up top and then a white. That would be super high contrast. People can break down the boxes a little easier. And so they don't all blend in together as one large, because this is a lot of text. And to be honest, I'm probably not going to read it all. So maybe cutting the copy in half and having a read more button would help with the usability of that. So finding a way to reduce the copy and having a chance if they want to read more, maybe it pops out and a module just kind of pops out or it goes to a separate landing page. Okay, so I like these call to action buttons, nothing wrong with that. So you're doing the offer all the way at the bottom as a sale, so you don't really know how much it costs until you kind of get down. So that could be a marketing tactic on your behalf. So great, I'm just going to focus on the design side at this point. So great project. I really love these projects. I really love everybody has submitted a great project so far. So I just want to, I know I'm giving a lot of constructive feedback, but I also want to focus on the positive that you guys are doing an excellent job. Some of you guys have never done a web layout until now. So this is fabulous work. Some of you guys have done many. So, all right. So this is another first one that I got. I really kind of love this texture. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And I'm a big fan of texture. I love this. That looks beautiful. It's just subtle. It's not screaming at me. It's just very light. And it really helps break up all this boring kind of white space. It looks wonderful. Up top, there's a lot of texture here. So I might even clean up the texture up top. Maybe keep some of this type of texture. We kind of have cleaning up a little bit of these boxes. Maybe not have as much detail in the photo. Just finding a way to simplify the texture. I like it, but when you use texture just a little bit, it really adds to the design. As opposed to having too much texture, it starts to take away from the design. But I love how it's cut out here. That's kind of a neat opportunity you took. And the register button, we need to have that big, bright, and vibrant. So it needs to be bigger. Perhaps it's in the center here so we can have some nice center alignment and make it really bright and prominent. So I know you have the texture over top, which would be really hard to design coding-wise. So you might just want to have that be a solid color. It's going to be easier to code that way because you can have a separate live clickable button as opposed to like a JPEG. And I'm kind of losing these a little bit, so we need to find a way to maybe make that a dark brown or bring out maybe a dark blue, maybe even darker than this blue to kind of get those to pop out and get rid of the drop shadow. So I would get rid of the drop shadow and do a higher contrast color, maybe even make them slightly larger. You could have kind of a little bar over the active state. So if we're on the home page, there'll be like a little blue bar underneath, just some way to kind of help out with the usability of the menu system. Okay, so I'm going to go down testimonials. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of drop shadows on dark colors. So I would just maybe even lighten the dark shadow just a little bit or eliminate it altogether, or maybe even make it a drop shadow that has this kind of color on it to give it a little bit of a 3D kind of pop. So it looks like I can switch the banner, oh, switch the testimonials there. So I have a carousel. Okay. Chat now, that's fine. So you kind of have this orange color and you have a gold color. So you have like two very close on the color palette, almost too close together, but different enough where they don't seem cohesive. So what I would do is maybe this gold, keep it the gold and get rid of the orange, the chat now, make that gold instead of orange, just reducing the amount of colors you have. So I guess this is a carousel I can switch between. You can add contrast by making this gold instead of blue because you already have a lot of blue going on here with the carousel. So scrolling down, so features, coaches, and programming. So this is a lot of text here. So we need to find a way to cut that in half or have a read more or have just a simple headline for these. So maybe have a max 5 to 6 words explaining the whole bubble, and then they can click to the separate landing page. Because you don't want to throw too much information at one point, and you also want to funnel people to the right area so you can really display the text in the proper manner. And this little guy's covered up, so I don't know if he's meant to be covered up or if it's responsive. He pops out when you drag the browser down. Unfortunately, I can't test this one out with responsiveness. Okay, so book now. This would be nice if this was higher up in the process. So I don't have to scroll all the way down to book. I want to book right away. So you might even want your book now right up here at the top because I'm going to come here and I'm not going to know. I mean, I guess you can click on register, but you need to have some kind of area really close by where I can go ahead and register. So the whole start and date book now. So you have a book now, you also have a register. So you need to figure out what's kind of the end goal. Where do you want the user to go? Do you want them to register or do you want them to book? And are those two separate things? So that's when you go back to the drawing board with it's more of a UX thing where you think of what's the main emphasis of the website, where you want users to go and focus on driving people to where they need to go or where they want to go and create a user journey that way. All right, so moving on, I don't think we only have one left. So saving the best for last, I actually have an XD file. I think this is Sean, so I'm going to go ahead and double click this. Open this up. I don't know if he's here. Okay, let's update later. Let's not worry about that. Okay, so hopefully it'll allow me to open it up. Okay, it's making me update live. That's fantastic. Okay, so that's okay. So I think I can go to the Facebook page and pull it up that way. So let me do that. Let me go to, yeah, I don't want to show all my stuff here. Uh-oh, let me see. Did I take a screenshot? Okay, I might have to do a separate video to talk about his. I'm not sure why it's not opening for me. Gotta love XD. Update later. And click on that. Just keeps forcing me to update. Well, it's a bummer. I was really wanting to show off his. So what I'll do is I'll do a separate video showing his off and giving him feedback for his. I'm not sure why it was not allowing me to update. But anyway, well, I really love these projects. You guys did a great job doing some layouts. So it's just about going back and tweaking some things and kind of watching kind of what other people did and kind of listening to some of the feedback I gave just to kind of, I think the overall theme of each one of these is just finding ways to get rid of anything that's non-essential to the user or to the viewer. So that's going to be simplifying a lot of things. Just cut as much as you can that's non-essential to the user or not important to the user. And you'll watch your designs clean up and they'll just get better and better. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed kind of this dive into UX UI with this project. I want to know what project you guys want to do next. I just released that photo manipulation class. Let me go ahead and pop over here. It's on Skillshare, so you can go check it out on Skillshare, and it's also on Udemy. So you can check it out on Udemy too right here. If you're interested, I'm going to put a $10 coupon or $9.99 coupon. I also have several other classes. I teach with Jeremy Deegan, another design instructor. It's called the Adobe CC Masterclass. This is a new class. If you've taken any of my classes on both Udemy and Skillshare, what I would love is a review. I love to get reviews from students because it helps me continue to do this for a living, continue to do live videos to help you guys out and to run this Facebook group. I would love a review. if you have a chance, just take a few moments. If you're on Skillshare or if you're on Udemy, just to leave us a review. Um, so anyway, so there's kind of that's it. So let me know what you guys want to do next. I thought about doing a photo editing project or something maybe based in Photoshop, based on kind of the new class I came out with. But if there's something you guys are interested in, I know a book cover was high, a t-shirt design was high on the list. So if you guys want to do any one of those, please let me know. But I'm going to open up the floor to questions. I'm going to look over and see kind of what people um, okay, so if anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'm just going to answer if nobody has questions. That's totally fine. Just kind of opening up the floor for a few moments. Just kind of seeing if anybody has any questions about anything. Design, going freelance. I thought about doing a Q&A and doing a Q&A and just taking some questions ahead of time and then also doing some live questions. So if you guys want to do that, that would be great. Let's do that. Let's do a Q&A next week. I'll post some details about Q&A. Could be anything based around pricing projects, how to find clients, how to maybe a portfolio review. So just think about all those things and let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and get off. I don't see any active questions, but I've really enjoyed our time together. You guys have all done a fantastic job. Just wanted to kind of give you some food for thought during today's session. And love you guys and continue to be awesome students. Thank you so much.